Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we're talking about why no one dates anymore. So, I had a conversation with a group of 20-year-olds recently, just walking around chatting, and none of them had ever been on a first date. And this blew my mind because I was really curious. I was like, what do you mean? Like you've never had a guy ask you out, you've never, and all these girls were like, no, like that's never happened. I've never gone on a date, you know. And these girls are 20, like they're in university, and it just blew my mind a little bit because I I just can't imagine. Like that's crazy. But I think it's a really common trend amongst the younger generation, but I think it's also very common at my age and older that nobody actually, like everybody hates dating apps and everybody is on them and constantly trying to find a person and that sort of thing, but no one actually goes on dates. Like it's all hookup culture, it's all fast, quick, no feelings, no attachment, and it's a real shame. And call me old fashioned, but if I'm going to hang out with someone, it's going to be on a nice date. Nothing else is going to happen. Get your heads out of the gutter. And it's all about just connecting with someone, getting to know who they are. I have this rule that like I need to know your last name and to have met a few of your friends or something before we go at all in that direction. And I think those are pretty good rules. But the number of times that in the past I have tried to initiate a first date and the response is like, oh, sorry, I don't date. It's like, really? Like, are you at all interested in having like a loving connection? And it's fine if you're not, but what are you doing on a dating app if you're not interested in that? What are you doing? um, so I guess this video is just a little discussion about this topic and why I think you should date and take the pressure, take the stress and the intense physicality, take that off the table and truly just enjoy getting to know somebody. I think that's one of the biggest things I try to do on a date is that I'm not interested in getting physical. I'm not interested in that kind of like intense flirting that leads to, you know, I'm just really interested in someone's story, how they see the world, where they came from, who their parents are, how that affected them, how their relationships in general affect them. What have they been through? What have they survived? And I think that is the real recipe for a genuine connection. You know, I talk a lot about dating and how to do it nowadays. And I think I would love to one day write a book on this subject, especially for like the Gen Z, my Gen Z people, my fellow Gen Zers, Zers, if you're from Canada. And I think it's a real shame that so few of us now go on dates, and the fact that so many of us have never been on a first date or have never even attempted. And I think a lot of it is like fear. There's a lot of bad press out there for dates and bad dates, and it's like, well, why would I put myself in that situation? It's also really expensive now to go on dates. Like just to go to dinner with someone can be like several $100s if you don't do it right. And a lot of us just seem like we're too busy. And I see that a lot. I see a lot of people nowadays talking about like, oh, I'm just so busy with school, work, whatever. And I don't want to break your minds here, but everyone in human history has been busy with school, work, surviving, family, all kinds of things. Like that has not changed. The human condition is essentially still the same. But now we are more divided through politics, religion, your views on celebrities, school, technology, social media, divisive issues about climate change or AI or whatever. And so we're a lot more divided in those senses, but I hate to break it to you, but you're not busier than any other generation. Like there might be more responsibilities and it might be more prescient, and it's constantly being shoved in your face by your phone. But if you don't have like an hour or two at the end of your day where you take some personal time and relax or whatever. What's going on? I think we all like to think that we are so busy and, oh my gosh, I just couldn't even fit in a 30-minute coffee date or whatever. And if you don't want to prioritize dating, that's totally fine. Please stay off the dating apps. Please stay off of those things, because you have no business being there if you're busy. If you are so busy that you are filled with obligations and responsibilities, put it on the back burner. Work on yourself, focus on things. And when things get quieter, go for it. But don't waste people's time. If you're not seriously looking, stop putting it out there. And that should be a really good rule of philosophy in general. If you're not ready for something, don't go for it. Only go for things that you are fully ready and committed to doing. I get really tired of people being like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so busy. I'm like, you messaged me first. You wanted to do this, do that. I have 3 jobs. I get it. It's busy. I have a busy family. I have a busy life. I have a social circle. Like, I am no more busy than anyone else. And I can still make time, especially if I want to, And I think that's a lot of what it comes down to, is people use busy as an excuse to not date or to not start something. But that's a real shame. And that's really no proper excuse. You can justify it, but it's not really justifiable. So, how do you date? It's pretty simple. You ask someone that you are interested in, that you have gotten to know online, or you've heard through the grapevine or whatever. Hey, do you want to go for coffee or something? I think we might have a lot in common. You're a cute guy, you're a cute girl. What do you think? They might totally think that that is just a bizarre way to reach out to them, and they might be like weirded out by it, but that's their problem. That's not yours. You shouldn't worry about that. Be upfront, honest, and direct. And if the person that you're talking to finds that really weird or off-putting, you don't want to be with that person anyway. Like, it'd be a real waste of your time and a waste of your spark and energy. So don't do it. And then keep it wholesome. Don't let the flirting go too far. Don't let the blood rush down below. Keep it wholesome. Get to know the person. Take your time. There will be plenty of time for everything else later. And I think that's really important to keep in mind, But what you want to do is you want to build a foundation. You want to build a trust, an honest communication, and you really don't want to push it too far, because it's easy to push it too far and then feelings get hurt, things get lost in translation, things get mixed up. You think one thing, they think the other. They ghost you, you ghost them. It's all bad blood, bad history. You'd be surprised at what goes around in the grapevine. People talk, suddenly you have a reputation, or they have a reputation, and it gets even harder. In many ways, it is easy to go on a first date when there's no history, there's no bad blood or spurned experiences. You're not going off of bad experiences, you're just going off of what you've seen in the movies and that kind of thing. And if your date doesn't feel like it's from a movie, it's probably not a good date, because a really good date feels like it's right out of a movie. Like that connection you have with someone, and that feeling of just what a perfect day, and the time just flies by. Like when you have a 3-hour date and it feels like 20 minutes, that's a good date. That's a really good date. When you could just talk and talk and talk, and you love what they say, and they're just charming, and it's really, really magical. Exactly what you want. Put yourself out there. Be willing to spend an hour with somebody new, even people that you're not inherently into. You'd be surprised at how quickly you can, catch feelings for someone who wasn't your type. And that's really cool. It's always really cool to meet someone who's not your type, doesn't fit what you would be into on paper, and really hit it off. That's, I think a lot of relationships happen really unexpectedly, and that's kind of the point. Human chemistry is a very complex thing that millions of dating experts have tried to figure out over the years, and they're never going to figure it out, because it's all about the two people and what clicks and what's going on in both of their lives at the exact same moment that they meet. There's a lot to be said for right person, right time. you know? So just have fun with it. Be open and free to getting to know someone. Go for coffee, go for a walk, go for dinner, do something where the main focus of the date is communication between the two of you. A second or third date, sure, go for a movie, go for something that you experience together, but a first date should really show you what the kind of person is in person. It'll let you know if they were catfishing you, if they actually look like their photo, or if they are secretly a walrus in human skin. So, just follow the basic rules, but try it. If you're at the right point in your life, try it. Try dating, get out there, see how it goes. The worst that happens is you go on a bad date and you're a bit annoyed for a little bit. But even then, you have a cool story to tell years later. Some of my bad dates are really funny stories that people enjoy. And if they're getting laughter out of it, then at least, I suffered for a good reason. Hope that's a good motivator for everything you do. But in all seriousness, I hope you take the risk and the opportunity. Go for it. Let me know about your interesting first date experiences if you are brave enough. And as always, guys, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.